Have you ever seen a flower do something that looks, well, basically like a magic trick? Like changing its color right before your eyes? It might sound like it's straight out of a fantasy story, but believe it or not, it's a real botanical wonder. Today, we're going to dig into the fascinating science of how and why some flowers can completely change their hue.
So let's just get right to it. The big question. Can a flower really change its color? The answer is a huge, resounding yes. And it happens in more ways than you'd probably think. And no, it's not magic. It's something way cooler. Science.
Turns out, this whole thing happens in two main ways. On one side, you've got natural changes. Think of hydrangeas, which can go from pink to blue just based on the kind of soil they're in. And on the other side, you've got artificial change, where we can take a plain white carnation and turn it blue in a single day. We're going to break down the science behind both of these.
Okay, so let's dive right in. We're going to start with the artificial method, because this is an incredible experiment you can do right at home. Seriously, it's a fantastic way to see plant biology in action, up close and personal.
And you know, the best part is just how simple this is. I mean, all you need are some white flowers. Carnations or roses are perfect for this. A few clear glasses, some water, and regular old food coloring. It's an experiment that pretty much anyone can do. The process itself? So easy. It's just 4 steps. First, you trim the flower stems. Then you mix about 10 to 15 drops of food coloring into your cups of water. Pop a flower in each cup, and then, this is the best part, you just sit back and watch. The transformation starts happening surprisingly fast.
Now, here's a little pro tip for you. If you really want to speed this up and get some super vibrant colors, cut the stem at a 45-degree angle. And make sure to take off all the leaves. Why? Well, this gives the stem a bigger surface to soak up that colored water, and it makes sure all that dye goes straight to the petals where you want it.
So, what should you expect to see? Well, within just a couple of hours, you might start to see these faint little streaks of color right on the edges of the petals. But just wait, let it sit overnight, and by the next morning, the change will be so much more noticeable. After a full 24 hours, wow, the flower will be completely and vividly transformed.
So that was the how, but now we get to the really cool part, the why. How in the world is that flower drinking the colored water and pulling it all the way up to its petals? Well, it turns out plants are basically masters at defying gravity every single day of their lives.
The scientific principle that makes all this possible is called capillary action. This is the incredible process that lets a plant suck water up from the ground all the way through its roots and stem and deliver it to its leaves and flowers, all while fighting against the constant pull of gravity.
Okay, the easiest way to picture this is to just imagine that the plant stem is jammed packed with thousands of microscopic little straws. These tiny tubes, which are called xylem, basically use the physics of water tension to pull water upwards, one molecule at a time. It's an amazing natural pump. And that is exactly what's going on in our experiment. When we stick that carnation in the cup, we're capping right into its natural plumbing system. See, the flower has no idea we've spiked its water with dye. It just starts drinking. And capillary action does the rest, carrying that colored water up through all those tiny straws and depositing the dye right into the petals, basically painting them from the inside out.
You know what's really wild is that our little at-home experiment, it's really just us mimicking something that nature already does in some pretty spectacular ways. So let's take a look at some flowers that can pull off this trick all on their own, no food dye needed.
So, as you can see, there are totally different reasons for this happening. Our carnation experiment was artificial, right? It was driven by capillary action plus our dye. But in the wild, you've got flowers like the hydrangea, which changes color based on how acidic its soil is, or the Bhutan flower, which actually changes color as it gets older.
Okay, we have to talk about this Bhutan flower because it is absolutely incredible. It might bloom pure white in the morning, but as the day goes on, it starts producing more and more of a natural pigment called anthocyanin. This causes it to slowly shift to pink, and then, by the evening, a deep red. It's a whole color story in less than a day. So, after all this, from our simple experiment to the amazing Bhutan flower, what does it all teach us? Well, I think it shows that sometimes the absolute best way to understand the world around us is to just get your hands dirty and try something for yourself. And this really gets to the heart of it, doesn't it?
It doesn't matter if you're a kid or an adult. Experiments like this, they do more than just show you a science principle. They spark your curiosity, and they can build a real passion for figuring out how things work.
So what's the big takeaway here? It's that so often, what looks like pure magic is really just science that we haven't quite understood yet. That color-changing flower isn't an illusion. It's a beautiful, living demonstration of capillary action, a simple, powerful force of nature that's quietly working in every single plant on Earth. And that kind of leaves us with one last question to chew on. This simple flower experiment pulled back the curtain on one little piece of everyday magic. It really makes you wonder, right? What other incredible things are happening all around us, just waiting for science to explain them?